I hope you like the Cubs.
Are you also trying to get me killed?
Listen, about D-Mac.
It's Darnell. That's my son's name.
And my nephew.
How you doing, man?
Doing good, brother. How you doing?
How was that? How was the Magic show?
Oh man, the Magic series is. I mean, you see where I see where he's just competitive, and he's seen that Jordan, the Last Dance, and he's like, nah, I gotta tell my story now. Because why now? I mean, it is 30 years after his announcement, but you know why now? I think it's because like he's seen that documentary, he's seen the hype on it. He's like, nah, I got a story to tell too. So it was good. It was good.
Is it a series like Winning Time, or is it a doc?
It's a docu-series. It's 4 episodes.
Oh.
Yeah. It's pretty good. I enjoyed it. I think I learned a lot about Magic, and I mean, I think there is you do see some differences in the story of Winning Time, and when Magic does, they call me Magic. You see like some little intricacies, like maybe that's why he was mad because they wasn't telling this element or this or that. He doesn't mention Jack Ramsey at all. He got Paul Westhead, and he got what's the main coach?
Pat Riley.
Pat Riley, but he doesn't mention Jack Ramsey at all. And you know, Jack Ramsey's all through season 1. I don't know what that situation was, but you know.
Man, that's crazy, man.
Yeah. But how you been, man? I mean, we right here on the precipice. By the time people see this, they would have seen the final episode of Power Book 4 Force. Most of them would have, because I know they just waiting. And right now, you know, 30 minutes on the East Coast, they'll be watching it, or they've already watched it on the East Coast. I don't know, you know. But like I gotta ask you, because you've been doing. I know you've done a little bit of TV with Be Woke and Off Script and Night Tales, but one of those was like podcasts, and others you wrote. How did it feel as a director to come into a project that you didn't write and you're just coming in? It feels like to me like it's like game 7 and like you're the new coach, you know, and you coaching these. Like, how did that feel for you as a director?
Man, that was crazy, man. Like, you know, just because you're already a fan of, I was already a fan of Power, you know what I mean? So watching it, you know, understanding how powerful it is and all the cool things that have been along with it, you know, watching Joe, and then a while ago, Amari Hardwick, and you know what I mean? You just know it. Yeah. And I got a call, man, out the blue one day. First it was Joe, he texted me, and I'm like, what's up? He's like, yo, 50 finna call you. And I'm like, all right, what's up? You know what I mean? They called me, and 50 was like, you want to go direct the season finale of Power? And I was like, let me think about it. What time I need to fly myself down there, man? No, it was great, man. I was like, man, without a doubt. And it was so cool because, you know, I'm from the Chicago area. So me being able to like go home, you know, see my family, and then be out there to shoot. I never, in my wildest imagination, thought I'd be able to go shoot in Chicago, man. You know, downtown Chicago. It was incredible, man. It was a very, very humbling experience to be able to do that. But walking in there, no, it's game time, man. You already know, like, you've been doing this for so long independently, like I have. You welcome those opportunities. You know what I mean? Like if they just crack the door a little bit, I can get my head in there. I'm going in, and I'm gonna go work, and I'm gonna go deliver what I know how to deliver. So, you know, it was a little bit different, from film, based on the fact that when you think about movies like, you know, Black and Blue or The Intruder or whatever the hell I've been shooting, you always have the ability to change the canvas a little bit when you're in film. TV, something this iconic, Power, they're locked in. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Those characters have been the same for years. This is what people come to see. So you have to figure out what you can do or what move you can make to kind of get your signature on a show like that. And for me, I was like, all right, I'm going to push as hard as I can into the performances, and I'm going to push as hard as I can into the camera work, and see if I could, you know, just kind of give it a little more edge, make it a little bit more movie, if you will, you know what I mean? And kind of deliver what it is I deliver.
I mean, besides, like when you get there, like is your job to go all the way from the script? Like you get to decide sets and everything else. Like, I mean, like when you're the director and you come in, are they just giving you the script and like all these location shots and everything else? Is that stuff that you have to come up with, or they already say like we have this location locked, we got this location locked, and you got to work with those elements?
No, man, they gotta let me have they gotta let me have the full. I gotta be able to do it. I gotta be able to do it all, man. I think as a filmmaker, you gotta be able to pick. That's part of the art. Pick where you're gonna shoot at. You know, pick your locations. You know, kind of look at whatever wardrobe. Like, you know, I'm very hands-on that way. You know what I mean? As a filmmaker, I love looking at wardrobe. I love looking at sets, locations. Everything matters. And yeah, when I got there, the whole team, 50 was, I mean, he was beyond great for me because he knew what I was as a filmmaker. And he was just like, D, go do your thing, man. I'm gonna make sure don't nobody move you, bother you, I brought you here to do this. And so yeah, all the locations was me scouting a couple weeks before the shoot, deciding where I want to be at, you know, and as a finale, I'm constantly thinking to myself like, damn, how can we get bigger? Do you know what I mean? Like what could be more epic? And obviously for those that have seen the episode are gonna see it, it comes down to a big Western. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, wow, like what would that feel like in Chicago? And so I think I found a really, really dope location for that. And everything else, you know, some of the set pieces they already have, you got to kind of fall into those. But a majority of the set pieces in the finale were me with the team running around Chicago for a couple of weeks, being like, yo, that's it, or nah, that ain't it. Let's go over here and do it this way.
This last couple of years since the pandemic, we've seen a lot of actors that we primarily seen in film move on and do series like Last Day of Ptolemy Gray and everything with Sam Jackson and everything else. Now that the streaming world has become what it's become, you've been primarily a film director. Have you thought about like going into the world of doing some original series from top to bottom, not being like a finale director, but like, you know, creating a series and bringing it to one of these streaming platforms and doing that? Have you considered that yet?
Yeah, man. You know, I want to make sure I stay on the side of film, just because I work too hard to get to this. You know what I mean? So I'm not already going like, oh yeah, TV, man, that'd be great. No, I want to make some movies, man. But yeah, we have the Masterpiece series, which I think is prolific and incredible. His story, we're actually out shopping that now. There's a few other things that's in the work. Yeah, I think creatively, man, you want to do whatever you can do to get your art off. You know what I mean? I know that's how I feel. Like I you know, eat, sleep, drink art. Like I'm always trying to figure out, damn, what can I shoot? And I mean, look, it's no secret to my palette of films. Like, you know, I'm kind of like all over the place because I love everything. You know what I mean? And but yeah, man, I think the way that the streaming world is working, I think that it's here to stay. But like I told people a long time ago, man, don't get wrapped up in that, because as you see, cinema is coming back in a major way. And I think me and you might have had this conversation earlier. The one thing that makes me nervous about most Black filmmakers and us in general, like jumping into streaming wholeheartedly and giving everything we have to that platform, is I remember a long time ago when we couldn't do nothing but live in the straight to DVD world, and we couldn't get into the theatrical space. You know, I'm old enough to remember that. I'm old enough to be like, yo, how do you get a movie in the theater? Because everything we make, it got to go, like, people, it's just straight to DVD. And a little bit me right now is kind of like, if you look at how it's shaping out, you're starting to see the premium stuff go back to theaters, and you're starting to watch everyone locked into streaming, straight streaming. And I'm going like, nah, man, you know, it's nothing. Listen, let me tell you this, man. I got a great theater system in my house. It's fantastic. Spent a lot of money on it so I could watch cool movies. Nothing in the world can replace you sitting in a dark movie theater with some popcorn, some M&Ms, whatever your drink of flavor is and watching a great film, man. Like that is our pastime because it's the only world where, you know, everyone could afford it. You could take a date, you could go with friends, you go girls' night, guys' night. You know, it is what we do. So as we're watching the theaters come back in this crazy way, you know, I'm just kind of watching, going like, yeah, I'm gonna kind of stay over here. I love to do that because I love to make art for, you know, masses of people that could watch it on the day, 1 second, or stream it, or whatever that might be. But at the same time, I love the art of making film that goes to theaters where people go pay their money, sit down, know they're finna have an experience.
I always hear about actors getting to know each other to develop chemistry on set, and they might hang out or whatever else. I know you worked with Joseph Sikora most recently on Fatal, but you worked with him before. What did you have to do for the rest of the cast to, as coming in as a director, to like develop that relationship to where they could trust you, you could trust them, or they know you, you know them? Like, is there anything you had to do when you got there to kind of like break the ice with all these cast members that you're just working with for the first time?
No, man, Power was great, man, because of Joe. You know, like when you have your number one actor telling the other actors, man, this dude is great. You know what I mean? Like when you have your number one actor like championing you, and then you walk on set, the work is already done. Now everyone is already accepting and welcoming you. Now the work is like, let me see what he can do. Do you know what I mean? Like, and Joe was phenomenal that way, man. But yeah, I've worked with Joe quite a few times. We got a really big movie coming out this summer called Fear that we had just did. We did The Intruder together. We've been friends, you know what I mean? So there was no hesitation with him, you know, to tell the cast like, yo, this dude is someone I really, really love working with as a director. And then, you know, I was fortunate enough for a lot of the cast who had been seeing some of my work. You know, a few of the kids that were on set have been fans of Black and Blue, others, The Intruder. You know, there was a few people that knew what Fatal was at the time. Like, was like, man, I love Fatal with Hilary Swank. So it was easy for me to walk in. And then I think I got a really cool, I think I have a cool vibe when it comes to filmmakers. I love film and television and actors. I love the idea of us doing it together. I am not a do it this way, that's what it is. I'm a guy that goes like, yo, y'all been doing it, show me what y'all been doing, and then let me jump in, and then let me give you a couple of notes here and there. Let me hear what you got to think. I feel like film and television work together. It's a team sport. And I try to bring basketball to film, meaning that somebody got to shoot, somebody got to rebound. We all got to play defense. If you hot, it's your ball. You know what I mean? I'm a pass, and that's kind of how it is. And you know, that's how you win championships. Bad directors to me are guys that's ball hogs. You know what I mean? Like, it's my way or the highway. I don't care what you think. I don't like that, man. I think I have a problem with that because you work with actors that are just as professional as you, just as dope as you. They might need a little guidance here or there. They might need to see the vision that you have. But the reason that you're there is because you trust them as actors.
I know safety protocols have changed because of COVID. Health protocols have changed on set. But I mean, you just talked about this Western scene, and there's a lot of shooting in this. I wonder, has anything changed following up on Rust and the Baldwin situation with handling prop guns and anything else? Has the film industry put any other implementation in place to make sure that there's no live rounds or anything else that could happen to repeat that situation, that tragic situation that happened with the Baldwins? Man,
that's sad, man. You know what? I don't know what the new rules are, or you know what they have now implemented into the safety of guns on set. I see a lot of stuff swirling around. People want to use nun guns. I don't know if you don't know what that is. That's like a little gun, and you shoot it, doesn't do anything. Like a little flame comes out of it. VFX, CGI. They've been doing that now for the last couple of years, where the guns don't do anything. The reason that people use these loads and full loads, half loads and guns is so if you're really in a performance and you shoot the gun, you really want to see the actor have the kick. But since, that tragedy, man, I'm not sure what the results are going to be. I've used a lot of guns on all the movies I've been in. I mean, probably with the exception of one. But man, that's just one of those things that you have to trust the people that are on set with you, and you have to trust the professionals, and you got to pay attention, man. And sometimes, man, and I've made movies for $100,000, you know what I mean? And you just can't rush. You know what I mean? Like, even though you want that shot, you've been working 15, 16 hours, you need it real quick. The cameras is loaded, everybody doing whatever. And then you got to have somebody come out and be like, all right, the gun, here it is. It's empty. Everybody tested. You got to let that happen. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know what went down on that set. And I don't know what's going to come from that in terms of like what the industry will look like going forward. But that is just sad, man. You go there to make a film and somebody shoots someone and kill them. Like, that's just beyond sad.
Yeah. Tell me, I mean, I don't want to really spoil, even though I feel like everybody would have watched this, but one of the characters dies in one of these scenes, and like, what is it like shooting that last word scene when you got the character saying those last words? Like, how many takes you got to do to get the emotion and everything right when you sitting there and they're taking their last breath on camera, on the series, whatever? Like how is that for that actor, and like and how is it for you as a director to pull off those type of scenes?
Those scenes are that's why you direct. Those are the moments where I feel like that's why you direct. You know what I mean? Those are the moments that you work for, where you can get the actors into a groove. You can get them into a place where, they feel what they are saying and it comes across through the camera real. That's all energy, man. It's kind of like, and I think that in this finale, the end is crazy. I think that it's the first time that we see Tommy vulnerable. It's the first time that we see emotions that let go and be for real. And that was kind of like what I was pushing them to do in the series. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of it, sometimes you get like, oh yeah, that just happened. And it's like, da-da, then we're on to the next scene. And this was one when I was like, yo, let's just stop for a minute, man, and live in it. Let's feel it. You know what I mean? Based on the fact that we've been rooting for this character for a very long time. People are attached to these people, and when you have this moment, let's create some, let's create the energy around the moment. And I think that, I'm not going to say who it is. I'm sure people already know, but I'm sure Joe, I know he really delivered right there. I thought that was fantastic, man. A little bit of that was us ad-libbing a little bit with Isaac and the rest of the team around us to just get the emotions and pull that out, because I feel like a finale is a finale, right? That means, like, when I come from Thank God It's Friday, TGIF, you know what I mean? And I remember like all those great TV shows, in the 80s, where it's like, damn, the finale meant like you watching the 18th finale, that means just the one, you know what I mean? Or Knight Rider or whatever that was, the finale meant like everybody, it's must-see TV. And I thought that this was really, really cool for me to do, because I love that. But more importantly, I thought they had a really, really great script. I thought like what they were doing, what they were trying to do with the Flynns and the energy there, the tension. I know people were guessing like, okay, who's not going to make it? What's going to happen? How are they going to flip this? And I think the finale had all of that.
I want to switch lanes a little bit. Me and you both were at the 94th Academy Awards. I think you was there with Mr. Crump. I mean, crazy night, of course. I mean, it's been talked about to exhaustion. But just being there, you made a lot of films. Like how did it feel to be among the best in film and the best cinematographers? I know you've already had Academy Award winning cinematographers working with you, but how did it feel to be in that room with kind of like the all-star game of your industry and be there?
Man, let me tell you something. Not in my wildest imaginations did I ever think that I would attend an Academy Award. Just straight up. That's just me. Like, you've been doing this for 17, 18 years, man. And I watch them every year. About 3 years ago was the first time I started being like, damn, it would be nice to like go to that. Do you know what I mean? But you don't have no access to that. You're not, that's a whole nother world. You know what I mean? Walking in there this year, man, it was, and I'm happy it took me this long to be able to go, because I know a few people that got like, you know, early on was like, oh man, I went to the Oscars. And I'm like, oh man, it was just this, it was that. I'm happy it took me a minute because I'm old enough to be like, I want to appreciate this. Do you know what I mean? Like, I want to walk and see the things and slow down a little bit, put my camera phone down and don't, you know what I mean? Just take it in, man. Man, it was amazing. Just the energy and just knowing what it represents. I know that the Academy has not always been kind to us, but when you're a filmmaker and you're someone that love this space, you understand what the Academy Awards is. You know what I mean? So the carpet, I remember getting out the truck. I was like, yo, this is like, it was overwhelming, man, but it was beautiful. For me, I left that event feeling inspired. You know, even when Will got the Oscar, and then you look up there and you see, you know, it's only 5, you know, Black leading men to ever receive an Academy Award. And, you know, Sam Jackson was there and Denzel was there, you know, and a couple nights before that, they gave, you know, Danny Glover an award. I just was like, man, this is untapped still. Do you know what I mean? I was like, man, it's like, this is the moment. This is the renaissance for Black film. Like, this is that moment right now where we have to all step up. John Singleton's gone. Spike Lee's getting older. Tyler has made his mark. Antoine has been incredible for a very long time. Ryan Coogler's on the rise. You know what I mean? And I was just thinking to myself, like, damn, Deon, where are you gonna fit in this? It's really athletic at the end of the day. You know what I mean? You go like, okay, how do you get in here and how do you score? And yeah, I walked out of there, man, thinking to myself all night, like, I got to get back there. I don't want to go again unless I'm going again. You know what I mean? I don't want to go to it again unless I'm invited to go for what I'm doing. But it was beautiful, man. It is the Super Bowl or the NBA finals of film, straight up. I don't care what your take is. I don't care if you're like, oh man, that ain't for us. Whatever you want to say is cool. I understand. But to see it and to understand it and to see like all the movies that have passed through there and all the great filmmakers, writers, you know what I mean? Actors, it's like, whoa, this was crazy, man.
You got a couple of projects coming out, Freedom Ride, Free Agents. I mean, your IMDb say you got 10 upcoming projects. And you got a family, you're a family man. I see you in the pool, I see you doing all this stuff with your kids and everything. Like, how do you balance like this extreme work schedule that you keep up with like pausing to live outside of that, pausing to just be Deon Taylor, the person, and not the filmmaker at sometimes?
Life is first. Health is first. Family is first. Breathing is first. None of this is promised to you. You know, what is promised to you is that you got a family over there, or you know what I mean, or you're healthy for the moment. You know what I mean? So to me, I've always tried to make sure that I put that first. As much as I love film, as much as I've been rocking with it for a long time, I gave everything I have to this game. And more than, sometimes I'll be like, man, you might be crazy, as much as I have given to try to make this happen, but I give more to my family and to life. You know what I mean? I've seen there's an interesting parallel here when you start thinking about what is success versus what are you doing with your life. And I've seen people, and if you rock that boat a little bit too much and you go that way, something has to give. So I've seen a lot of people give up family. I've seen a lot of people give up health. I've seen a lot of people give up, you know, just having a moment to themselves to just breathe, and they give it all to whatever this thing is. And at the end of the day, that's really not what's important. What's important is, was you a father to your kids? Was you a mother to your kids? Was you there at the basketball game? You know what I mean? Were you there to pick them up when their knee gets scraped? Yeah, you know, film and entertainment and whatever your business is gets in the way at times, but it's your job to make sure that it doesn't get in the way all the time. So I put that first. And what I've noticed is it makes me better as a filmmaker, because when I do it, oh, I'm hungry. Like the minutes that I'm giving to it, I'm like, yo, okay, I'm over here, right? It's like I remember like playing ball, you know, and you got to go in when the lights come on. And you know, damn, that light's gonna come on in 30 minutes. Oh, you hooping. You know what I mean? You like, oh, you doing everything. And it's like, when the light come on, you gotta go. So I look at film that way. I give it everything I have. You know, I'm willing to sacrifice everything I have, but I know there's a line that I will not cross when it comes to my family and me as a person, and, you know, being a regular person, man, because that goes a long ways. I've met a lot of people in this industry where I've been like, damn, what happened? Like, what happened to you? You know what I mean? Because you're not happy doing this. You've been through 5 divorces. You know what I mean? You got kids don't know who you are. Yeah, you got a whole bunch of millions of dollars, but that ain't, I've seen that, man. I've seen it, and I don't want to be that. Like, I'd rather be the dude like, damn, man, we was cooking over here, man, but damn, my kids is good. We have, you know, got a cool house, cool car. I never got to that. You know what I mean? I'd rather be that. But I think with family, you can do it. And I think I'm gonna prove my point very soon.
Lastly, I mean, you've been a social justice warrior. Also, you spoke out about a lot. I've seen you guys, and I don't know if y'all was in Chicago recently with Robert Johnson talking about prostates and health. What was I didn't catch that whole thing, but I know y'all had a whole initiative that y'all just did. And I think you was even at the Oscars with Ben Crump. So, I mean, you're always like on the forefront of what's going on with the culture and what we going on in society. And even though that Derek Chauvin has been prosecuted for George Floyd, we still have these things happening. I just mentioned to you a couple of days ago about Quantez Burks got beat up worse than Emmett Till in prison just for trying to get a tenant to not have a cat in his place. And, you know, that this story hasn't even hit. Do you ever fear that you being so outspoken would affect your positioning in your industry, or get blackballed, so to speak, because you are speaking out and not, you know, just being docile like they might want you to be? Do you ever fear like stepping on these, being a part of these controversies, speaking on these controversial issues will have blowback to your career?
You know, it's one of those things where, it's a great question, man. It's one of those things where, for me, I understand what you're saying. There are a lot of people that won't say anything because they are inside of a system that they personally feel like, if I make that move or if I say that, I'll be looked upon this way and people might not hire me or blackball me. When it comes to social justice, man, when it comes to us, I think you got to risk it all, man. If you real and you live in this world, I don't understand how anyone could blackball you for speaking up against evil, right? And if you do, then I shouldn't be in the space with you, straight up. And I'm gonna tell you, man, like, we are beginning to have more allies now. I'm watching people in studio systems now be like, man, I wanna help. I wanna understand. You know what I mean? It used to be taboo to talk about something, or for someone to be like, oh man, I understand what you mean when you when you out here marching or you trying to, when George Floyd was killed, man, and we watched that, and the world watched that. I don't care who you are, what you was about. We had white kids, Jewish kids, Asian kids, Arabic kids, every denomination you could think of was marching and saying, man, I don't want to see that ever again. And I watched some of our biggest stars in this space not say nothing. I watched some of the biggest stars that we support, that we go see their films, we go watch what they do, not say nothing. And that's when I was like, I ain't gonna never be that. I don't ever want to be that, man. Like, no, I'm not gonna do that, man, because we're getting to it's a new world that's being built right now. And that world is about right and wrong. And guess what? That world is colorless. If we see something wrong, we all must say something if we want the world to change. Black, white, Asian, Jewish, Arabic, it does not matter. And it doesn't matter to whom it is. You know what I mean? If I see a white man get something done to him the wrong way, I'm gonna stand up and say something. Right and wrong is where we're at. A couple of days ago, right here where I'm at, Sacramento, there was a mass shooting. A bunch of people got killed out here. We didn't care what it was, man. We was out there supporting those families. Do you know what I mean? It's deeper than someone saying, oh, I don't want to be around that. You might want to be around the people that's actually opening their mouth now. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think you might want to have those people around you now, because this is choppy and wavy right now, man. And you don't want sheep anymore. You really want people that go against the grain and fight. And that's how change happens. You know what I mean? That's how great cinema is made. That's why John Singleton was great. That's why Sidney Poitier was great, right? Like you want that. You want people to say something. And no, I don't fear any of that, because I walk with God, man. I keep my integrity where it's supposed to be. But I'm gonna always be the guy that if something is absolutely wrong, I'm gonna make sure that I stand on the side of righteousness and right. I'm not gonna ever be the guy that's like, oh, I can't say nothing because they might think they don't want to give me a check. No, man, we here for the people, man, and we here for the culture. And it's our jobs right now as elders to show our kids and to show the young kids and show Generation Z, Generation X, this is how we move forward. We have had every leader assassinated, Jamal. Think about what I just told you. Every leader we have ever had, true leader, has been killed. And that's why right now I'm doing the John Lewis movies, because he was one of the leaders that was not assassinated. Right? I'm not talking about the sidekick. I'm not talking about the guy that was with the guy like this out right now. Like, I'm talking about leaders. I'm talking about real Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Huey P. Newton. I mean, murdered, man. Murdered. You know what I mean? And when you pull it back, it's like, man, why is it like that? And it shouldn't be like that. And us as Black people, man, it's not about us trying to take over or do anything crazy like that, man. We just trying to make it right for our families, so they don't have to be raised in the conditions that we were raised in. I was raised in the projects, man, with no lights, roaches, rats, and mom working 2 jobs and getting food stamps. We still can't make it. Why is it like that? You know what I mean? Liquor store everywhere you look, people hooked on dope, you know, and that's not the world we want to be in, man. So we want to try to figure out, how do we educate ourselves? How do we systematically get out of this? How do we change our music, right? How do we change the films that we're seeing that was all not just violent and crazy? Sometimes you got to have a great message inside the film. You know what I mean? Like, we just got to get there, man. And I think we're doing that. There's some pretty prolific, incredible people doing great work right now.
You definitely one of them, man. I always appreciate your time, your spirit, your energy, and I really respect you as a person and a filmmaker. So I always appreciate our friendship, and I appreciate this time, brother. Let's talk some more about Freedom Riders and John Lewis and all other projects coming up. But for right now, we're gonna keep it on Power Book 4 Force season finale. Let people check this out. Get
Yes,
this
sir.
and we'll be talking again soon, brother. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you, man. Let me know when this goes. I can't wait to push this out. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
All right, bro.
All right, later.